Oh, hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm hanging out with Cara Maria over here. It's just me, just the two of us here in quarantine headquarters, Natalie headquarters. Today, I'm gonna be doing a get ready with me video. So you're gonna watch me transform myself from this crusty gremlin to this queen. Would you hold him back? Why'd you hold him back? 'Cause someone turned the lights on. 'Cause someone turned the lights on. 'Cause someone turned the lights on. You see that I'm wearing my Final Reckoning outfit. Yes, I am. And I'm going to talk about my favorite 2 elimination wins and my biggest loss. So let's get started. I look disgusting. Oh. I don't have a tender head, if you know what I mean. Okay, so I'm just going to pull my hair up. Do not zoom in on my armpits. They're so freaking hairy. All right, let's get ready, guys, and let's talk. So, my favorite elimination win was definitely the ball cage elimination. That was on Final Reckoning. This is the outfit that I wore on the Final Reckoning intro. This is like the promo outfit. The ball pit challenge was definitely up there, one of my top ranking eliminations, one of the most painful things I've ever done in my life. And as you can see here, look at my knees, look how they were scarred, and look how they are now. Most painful experience I've ever done in my life. It was my first elimination win ever, so that was like a really big moment for me, obviously winning an elimination finally. But I got in that cage and Kyle shook my hand. He's like, Natalie, I swear to God, I'm not going to spin you hard. I won't spin you fast. And I was like, thank you so much. Like, obviously it was scary because all the other people that did the same elimination, all the girls got girls. Like, I remember Cara Maria, Marie, everyone was getting spun by women. And I'm the smallest girl on the show. And I was getting spun by a man, one of the big guys. Kyle is very tall. So that was really scary. Everyone thought that I was going to lose. I thought I was going to lose. I was like, I'm going into like masuquista mode. I'm about to just hurt myself. So I was extremely nervous about the whole experience. I didn't want to go in. I was like, Polly, let's change. Like, I'll spin Brad. I said, Polly, I'll spin Brad. He goes, shut the F up. You're going in there, Natalie. Like, you can't spin Brad. I was like, I know. But like, I was really scared. I remember even Banana said like, oh, like, he thought I was going to die. So everyone thought I was going to die. It was just not a good situation. And I get in there and just Kyle starts spinning me like crazy. He was spinning me so hard that even Kaylee, who me and her aren't like on the shows, we're not best friends or we're not close or anything. We're kind of like, you know, like enemies, even though like I really don't care and I wish her the best. I truly wish her like health and happiness. She was screaming at Kyle, you're gonna kill her, Kyle, you're gonna kill her. And like she was screaming, like everyone was screaming for me, and that was so nuts because I was in so much pain. So people don't realize that when he was spinning me, so I was a ball cage, as you can see here in this clip. So I'm getting spun, and they're little honeycomb, like it's filled with honeycombs, right? Like little honeycombs, and the creases are really hard metal, sharp metal creases. So when I'm getting spun, I have momentum with my body and body weight and also gravity. So when I'm hitting the ground, it's with that momentum and the gravity and my weight. So I'm hitting it and hitting into those honeycomb creases. So that's why my knees look like this right now. Super painful. I would land on my face because I'm like a rag doll spinning all over the place. Like, seriously. Like, seriously. So I would land on my face. Like, it was so, I couldn't feel my face. I was 2 seconds away from giving up because I was getting spun so hard. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. I felt like I was choking because the balls were giving me like a drowning feeling. I was like desperate. And I was like, in my head, I was like, I'm quitting. Like, I'm literally doing all this and I'm going to be so hurt and I'm going to be in so much pain and I'm going to have scars all over my body and God knows how much more. Like, I could have pulled something, could have dislocated a shoulder, and I'm not exaggerating. Like, that it was that bad. But then I was like, shoot, if I quit, that means Polly is going home with me. And so the fact that I had another partner whose life in the game and $1 million depended on me, I was like, I can't quit. So I just turned myself, I look like a clown. I turned myself into a clown right now. So I, ended up competing. I just did it, kept going. I didn't quit. And then I hear Marie, out of all people in the world, and obviously Cara Maria is like one of my best friends. And they're screaming out like, go. No, it was Cara Maria was like, go with the flow, momentum of the ball. So I was like, instead of fighting the cage, because you can't climb it, you can't put your fingers through it. You just literally are just getting pubbled all over the place, if that's even a word. And I was helpless. Imagine being put in a dryer with just sharp stuff all over cutting you and just getting dried like with a huge dryer and not being able to do anything. That's how it felt. So Cara Maria's like, go with the flow. So I just went with the flow, and I would like look for the numbers, because we had to find 6 different numbers on these colored balls. And we had to put them, there's one hole in the whole entire cage. You had to put it right through that hole. So that hole would move with the momentum as well, because it was one hole in the cage. So I remember I would like finally, I got life into me at one point for a little bit before getting pummeled again. And I would find a ball, and I would just like find these balls and like put them in my shirt, and they'd be like squished in my boobs because I'd pummel over again. Because if I found one that was the right number, I needed to save them so that I could then put it in the hole. So that was really, really hard for me. Like, obviously, I like couldn't, it was just impossible. So finally, then Marie out of all people in the world, was like, Natalie, get this. She started screaming the numbers of balls I had to get. She's like 26 or whatever number it was, 8, 3, whatever. So I started finally, it was like the challenge gods. Like, I believe in real God and the challenge gods. And it was like all my gods, all my stars, everything was aligned. And I had laser focused vision. I was like, I'm going to do this. Like, I got like this adrenaline rush after getting like just annihilated. I was like, I'm going to do this. I was still getting hurt, and like, imagine I'm doing all this while this is happening, and I'm like grabbing balls, like dying, obviously like grabbing them, like doing it. And finally, I had no idea who was in the lead. I just knew that I was going to lose. That's what I thought in my head. But I was like, I'm not going to quit. Even if I lose, you know what? I'm going to finish strong. Next thing you know, the girls are screaming out 26 or whatever, 8, I don't remember the last number. They're screaming out the last number, and I was like, okay, like, I finally found this last number. I didn't know it was the last number, but I just remember everything was in slow motion at this moment. Like, I grabbed that number, and the girls are yelling loud, and I can hear them, which is really tough. And I finally find this number, and I was like, Rah! And the hole, I had to wait for the hole, and the hole was like coming through. So at this moment, I didn't know it was the last ball, but I just knew I had to get it in. So there was one point where I got like, I forgot the number, like 4 or 6, I don't remember the number, but I put like the same number ball multiple times in the hole. So I had like 4 or 3 of the same number, and that doesn't count because I was so scatterbrained and my head was hurting so bad I couldn't focus. So finally, like, Kyle spins me so hard, so fast that I was able to get the ball quickly. I ran to the hole, put it through, got it through, bam, 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 thank you, ma'am. And then the blowhorn, TJ blows the blowhorn, and I'm just laying there, like, in disbelief of pain. I didn't know where I was anymore. I was so confused. And then TJ comes up to me and he's like, you won. I was like, no way. Are you kidding me? You're lying. And then everyone's joking around. But it was such a surreal moment. The fact that like my enemies, every single person in that game came up to my cage and was just cheering me on. Like Cam, Kaylee, Cara Maria, Marie, like every single person was so excited. And it was just like a human to human interact. It was like a really exciting, like really cool moment in my life. Like my first elimination win, I finally won, and I'm getting back into the house after being in redemption the whole entire time. And I finally got in, and I was like, holy crap. I was in so much pain, bleeding. The pain afterwards was the worst pain because my clothing and my sheet, I didn't have shorts that season. So my clothing, my pants, the bed sheets would stick to my bloody knees at night and stick to it, and I would have to yank it off. It was so freaking painful. It was just, that elimination one was really cool, really intense, and one of the best memories I have on the show because I thought I was going to lose. Everyone thought I was going to lose. I ended up beating Brad, guys. Me and Polly, first of all, I was teamed up with the smallest guy going against two of the bigger guys. Brad is huge with experience. He's a super vet. And you have Kyle, he's also really smart and really social and really a tall guy. So I was like, oh my God, we're going to lose. Like, so the fact that I beat Brad was one of the biggest moments ever. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe I beat Kyle. That was so cool. And me and Polly did it. Polly, you know, he did as best as he could spinning Brad, and he kicked butt. Even though he fell off, he kicked butt, Polly. So it was a team effort, but I'm talking about my experience on it. Me in the cage. I didn't realize anything else was going on because I was getting pummeled and annihilated. So that was a really cool win for me. Really exciting stuff. My other huge challenge elimination win was obviously holding my arms up for 5.5 hours. Guys, I hold the record for the longest elimination win in all of the history of the challenge. Me, little old 4'11" girl. So, yes, I held my hands for 5.5 hours. I think that's the time. It could have been, it just was miserable. So we're in the middle of South Africa, and I remember I told Polly this, and I wrote Polly a letter. So if you guys want to message Polly, he will also tell you this. And we're in the elimination room, we're in the voting room deliberating and final reckoning now that we're back in the main house because we got in from the ball cage challenge. And this is the moment where we're either going to make it to the final or not. So this is the biggest moment ever. This is the moment where you want to play it safe and not put big players in. And you don't want to go into elimination at this point. Like, you had all your chances to go into elimination. This is not the time to go into elimination. But I knew that there was a huge chance because of the equalizers. So let's say Johnny and Tony went in and they got the opportunity to call someone out because that's how it was working. I guarantee you they were not going to call out Cara Maria and Marie because that was kind of like a number for them. Yeah, that was a number for them, number one. And number two, they were all sharing rooms. And number two, the equalizers were really at an advantage for the girl teams. So obviously they're going to choose me and Polly to go against no matter what. So I told Polly, I was like, let's pull the trigger. Let's vote against Bananas and Tony. I don't remember my reasoning. It was just because, like, let's earn our title. Let's earn our way into the final. They are most likely going in, like, no matter what, Tony and Johnny. So I was like, Polly, let's just vote against them. And he's like, if we vote against them, we're going in. I said, I know. Let's just vote against them. Let's pull the trigger and, like, we're ready for war. And I wrote him a letter, too. I said, Polly, I was like, get ready. We're going in. I was like, we're going to win this. We are going to win this. And we're going to give it all we have. We've been prepping for this in the Redemption House all season. We've gone through so many eliminations. It's time for us to earn our stripes and earn our spot in the final. So that was my mentality and my thought process in it. So next, obviously Polly obviously Tony and Johnny get put up. And they were going to choose, I guarantee you they're going to choose us no matter what they say. And so basically we obviously had to go against them because we voted them in. All the house too was trying to trick us. Like, everyone was saying they're voting for someone different, so we would end up voting for them anyways. But Polly will tell you, I knew when we were voting them in, I specifically said, I'm ready for war. If we go in, we go in. Who cares at this moment? We came onto a show to compete. So Polly then, we get in there, we compete, blah, 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 and holy crap. So next thing you know, I look over and Tony and Polly are throwing up blood because they're eating. Guys, you don't understand the amount of rotten milk and cookies they were eating. It was like tables and tables, and they would bring more and more. It was all you can eat buffet for a whole entire week they had in like a very quick setting. And Polly was keeping up with Tony. Tony's one of the best eaters in the whole of challenge. You don't want to go against, if there's anything you don't want to go against Tony with, which is a lot of things he's good, Eating is the number one thing you don't want to go against him. He will win. He will beat you. Polly was keeping up, thank God. And I just remember seeing them just throwing up blood, like it was like blood everywhere. I was like, holy shit, this is so scary. Like, oh my goodness. Like, I was like, if I drop my arms, Polly and Tony just threw up blood. I was like, no, I can't do that to him. Like, he's literally throwing up blood to make us win. So finally they finished their round, their heat, and TJ said it's up to Bananas and Natalie now. So it was like up to one of us to win this. So our teammates were done. I remember like Tony coming up to me at one point, getting close, saying something funny. And like, obviously I don't want to laugh or anything or like be nothing. Like, so Polly came in to like protect me at one point, like nothing harmful, obviously. But it was just funny how we're all playing, like, now at this point, it was a mental game at this point. My brain went into this, like, new world that I never knew. Like, so people say they meditate. I meditate a little bit here and there, but I'm not a master meditator, someone that does it consistently every day where I'm, like, in this other realm of life. Guys, I'm not kidding you. Like, my brain was, like, I was in another dimension. I was not on this planet. I was in another... I don't know where I was, but I was somewhere in space, super focused. Anyways, I was like, I'm going to win this. There's no way I can lose this. Like, I'm holding my arms up, and I just kept thinking, like, I have trillions of dollars in student loans left. I have my mom to take care of. There's, like, my family in Venezuela. There's so many people that I want to take care of, and there's so many things that I want to do with my life. I was like, this is my moment to make it to a final and win. Finally win $1 million, well, $500,000, because I would have split it with Polly. So I remember just like being so focused, and I saw a centipede on one side of the arena. In the whole entire 5.5 hours, I watched that little black centipede crawl from one end of the arena all the way to the other end of the arena. That is how long we were in this elimination for. It was like nighttime now. We were all exhausted. It was the middle of the night. Like, honestly, it was freaking miserable. I don't wish that upon anyone. And I've heard a lot of comments of people saying like, oh my God, she's a girl. She's so like tiny, like not big arms. She could have won. First of all, I'm pretty sure that, actually I know that there's huge guy players that have won holding arm up eliminations and challenges before. And that is what the other challengers told me. So no, that's not the case. First of all, I was a dancer. I was a cheerleader. I've have all this practice. I have a lot of strength training. So I think because I was a gymnast and a dancer and an NFL cheerleader, because when you're an NFL cheerleader, you have palms and you're dancing 4-hour games, like literally shaking these palms, shaking your palms and dancing cardio in the hot sun in the MetLife Stadium, turf on your feet, which turf gets hotter. So in the summer, when preseason and season starts, in the summer, the turf gets hotter than the outside world. So your feet are burning, your head is burning from the sun, and you're dancing for 4 hours straight. I remember we used to lose a few pounds, I forgot how many calories, thousands and thousands of calories just in one game. It was like so crazy. So I have training for this, and it honestly paid off. So no, it's not because I'm smaller or have smaller muscles. Yeah, that obviously helps. But at the end of the day, I remember I was so scared. I'm not a super vet, like a legend, like the CTs and Wes's and Johnny Bananas and all them. I'm not, or like the Veronicas and Anisas. Like, I'm not at that level. So I don't know that you can like strategize, use your brain. And because they've done similar competitions or they watch other people do similar competitions, they know all the tricks of the trade. So I hyperextended my arms so that the rotten milk wouldn't fall on me. And I was on my tippy toes. So I was already overly exhausted. My back cramped up. I couldn't feel my back. I couldn't feel my butt. I couldn't feel my feet. I was freezing cold, shivering. It was my whole body. I was like, I could have fallen at any moment. I didn't know when I was going to fall. I didn't know when he was going to fall. But it could have happened at any moment because your body could just give out of exhaustion. And I remember looking over at Johnny, and he was actually leaning. So if you think about it, these bins, these buckets of rotten milk have weight to them. So you can actually hold on a little bit, like you pull a little bit and you can actually like rest your arms on it. But I was not going to risk that. So Johnny knows he strategized. He actually leaned it as much as he could where he's like resting his arms and with the weight of the bucket. But if you tip that weight a little too much, the bucket, if you tip that weight just too much, that bucket's going to come down. You know, the string, the bucket, you can just hold on to it a little bit, hold that weight, but if you just go a little too far, that bucket's going to fall right on you. So it's like he was at that happy medium, just enough weight where it wasn't going to push it over, but just enough weight to hold his arms. So I watched him do that, and I was like, no way in hell am I risking holding my weight to that bucket, and it's going to fall. So I remember watching his, and his would teeter, like teeter. And finally I saw Polly's eyes once, and Polly's eyes were like, oh my God, because he teetered it too much to the point where it was like, bam, it was about to fall. And then I just so at this moment, I'm like out of the zone. Like I'm in so much pain. Like I'm not in my body anymore. So I didn't know this was happening, but I did. It was like a weird, like, blah situation. And I just remember like there's splashes of rotten milk coming all over me, but like I didn't know we won. I just remember seeing Polly's face like going crazy. And I remember just then looking, everything's in slow motion at this moment. When you win eliminations or lose them, everything's in slow motion. So I looked to the right and I'm like, and I still couldn't believe we won. And I was like, Polly, did we win? And he's like, yeah, because my brain still was in Mars. So let's get my brain. Okay, come down. We got my brain back in my head. I was like, Polly, did we win? And he's like, yeah, we won. So Polly was like, don't cheer. I was like, yes. Like, you know, like now I can win money and actually take care of my family. And Polly's like, Natalie, don't cheer. It's like rude. So I couldn't even celebrate it because, you know, it was a big moment for everyone. Like Johnny and Tony like didn't make it to the final. We made it to our first final. So it was like that bittersweet. Like I felt bad. They were going home. You know, everyone in the crew was upset that they were going home because that's a big moment. Like they're not going to the final. And then, you know, me and him were really happy, obviously, because we made it to the final and like we were stuck in the redemption house. Thank God for it. So there's a lot of mixed reviews too on the redemption house. Half the people are like, you guys didn't deserve it. But guess what? There's new rules every season, and you have to use every new rule to your advantage. And that new rule kept us in the game. And the fact that me and Jose were best friends, no matter what, we were never going to go against each other, like do anything against each other to get each other out. Me and Jose, every time we had the power, which thank God we did, like, and it's like you had to choose. So you had to get lucky, and it was always random order. They always put us in a random order. So it was like all out of luck. So I knew that I was going to choose Jose no matter what to go against, because at the end of the day, it keeps one of us big brothers in the redemption house and one in the main house. So we kept doing that and swapping each other. They kept beating us and going into the main house, but you know, we obviously ended up winning later on when it was important and got back in. And in the redemption house, we were also strategizing the whole time. Like, you know, you were talking to people, strategizing, seeing what was going on inside. So you were still playing the game, just it was a smaller version in the redemption house. It was a strategizing house, retaining information, planning for when you get back into the main house. So for those of you that don't like that, we didn't make the rules, so you can't hate us for that. And we used that to our advantage. Me and Polly could have easily, the first time, because we're the first winners in it, to go to the redemption house and fight back in. I could have easily chosen like, you know, another girl team or something that people think you could win, which truly a girl team is not someone to underestimate. But what everyone's thought process when competing, you want to choose like the smaller players or the people that you could probably beat. I'm the smallest girl, so it's like really difficult for me to beat someone in elimination, but I managed to do it. So we could have easily not chosen Jose and Davon. Davon's way bigger than me. Jose is so strong. He's a matchup for Polly. So I could have chosen like a girl team to go against or another girl. And oh no, we could have chosen, I think, Brittany and Chuck. Chuck had no, first of all, I'm friends with Brittany, so keeping her around would be fantastic for me. And Chuck has no experience in the game. So Polly could have easily beat Chuck, and then it would have been, you know, hopefully I would have beat Britt, but who knows, you know what I'm saying? She has played this game longer than me. She's bigger than me. She can strategize. She's smart. She can win things. So that was my situation. But I ended up choosing my best friend, even though Brittany is my soul sister and I love her. You know, I've known Jose for longer, so I chose to go against him. So you guys, we strategized and we earned our spots using what we were given. So stop hating the game. Stop hating the player, hate the game. So that was that big win for me. We made it to our final. We made it to a final 8. That was the craziest final ever. All right, now let's talk about my first elimination win ever in the history of eliminations on the challenge. My first season was Vendettas. I was the first female crossover from another network onto the challenge. I'm going to keep saying this till people memorize it. And I was a Lone Ranger, but it was a tough season. It was a really tough season emotionally. I was beat. I gained weight. I gained a lot of weight. I was just feeling insecure as I'm a human. And I ended up gaining 30 pounds. When I got home, I was 30 pounds. And I'm not kidding you. I have this in my notes. I remember I changed my diet after Vendettas. I went in like 108 pounds around possibly into Vendettas. I left like 135-ish, 130 something. So I hit almost 140. So I gained like 20, almost 30 pounds. So that was like a really tough season for me. Emotionally, I was beat to a pulp. And I had just finished filming Big Brother months to a year prior. So I was still like withdrawing from Big Brother. And then they put me into this new house with new people. You know, same kind of rules, but a lot tougher and a lot meaner cast. Big Brother is a walk in the park when it comes to cast situation, not the house situation, because Big Brother, you're basically in jail without windows. So it was a really tough situation for me to be in. I'm a very sensitive human, so I get really hurt very easily. And not anymore, but I was. I mean, this was a few years ago when I did Vendettas. Now I'm 30 and I can give 0 craps. It is what it is. If you don't like me, join. If you don't like me, join the line. And if you do, join this line. If you like me, I'll be talking to you. Great. We could be friends. If you don't like me, great. Join that line. It is what it is. Like, not everyone's going to be everyone's cup of tea, and that's what it is. So I'm so exhausted at this point, and finally I get put up for elimination, and it was just like I get called down, and me and Cam go against each other. And it was like made for me, basically. The challenge gods were like, Natalie's going to win this one. And I was a gymnast and a dancer, and my balance is incredible. And it's a tightrope. So they harness your hands up to the top rope, they harness your feet to the bottom rope, and you're walking across these strands. I'm crushing it in the beginning. When TJ blows that horn, I'm beating Cam. I'm already halfway down the line, and I look to the right, and Cam's still in the beginning. But then, bam, I flip over. I fall, so now my head is dangling down to my feet, and I couldn't get myself out. The reason why I lost this, it wasn't because I couldn't do this elimination. It was because mentally I was weak. And because I was mentally weak, I got flustered. And because I got flustered, I couldn't strategize. And because I couldn't strategize, I couldn't get myself back up. If I did that elimination now, I could definitely do it, and I can accomplish it. And I could beat anyone doing that. That's something that's built for a tiny little girl like me, 4'11", 100-something pounds. That's built for me. I was a gymnast, dancer, etc. So my mental wasn't in the game. And Cam is a beast. She deserved that win. She won that win, and she got herself to that final, and she deserved it. I'm proud of her. I think she is such an incredible woman. So shout out to Cam for beating me in that elimination. But I remember before going into elimination, when I was in the house that prior week, my soul, I always know kind of when I'm leaving the game. It's like my body, my female instincts tell me, like, Natalie, this might be it for you. Like, you might be going. And also, like, my mentality at that point of the game, I was defeated. So I was like, I'm done. Like, in my head, I was like, I emotionally can't be in this house anymore. Like, I was so uncomfortable. Like, my body dysmorphia was eating me alive. Like, I didn't fit in my clothes. I was just like filming like all this drama all the time. It was just like everything just consumed me. And just remember, I'm a human being. I'm not perfect. So like, I'm allowed to feel insecure. I'm allowed to have feelings. I'm allowed to feel overwhelmed, and I'm allowed to feel alone. And that is how I felt. So I was mentally and emotionally defeated. And going into elimination, once you're defeated, I lost that elimination before getting to that elimination. So that's one thing I did wrong. Another thing is, thank God that I lost this elimination, guys. I am so happy Cam took me out. She's a powerhouse, because if Cam didn't take me out, guys, I would have been screwed. So that season I did, what was it? That season we did that season we did the water challenge. We jumped over oiled cars over water, and this was in Spain in Vendettas. Now I remember when I fell in, everyone was laughing because I was like, ugh, like choking. Here's the clip. Because of that, my body was I had so much adrenaline in my body that I didn't know. I had so much adrenaline in my body that I didn't realize that I pinched a nerve in my back. I didn't feel it. Nothing. So when I think I pulled a muscle and pinched a nerve, that's what I did. So what happened was when I got eliminated, I cried like a baby. I think that everyone around me thought I was a psychopath because I couldn't stop crying. I cried so hard. It was like a psychopath, like crazy human being just crying. Like I cried for hours and hours. I cried for days after getting eliminated. I kept eating and eating and eating. I couldn't stop eating because I was so emotional. I was emotionally eating after that season. So by the time I got to the airport from the hotel, to go home, I stepped foot at the airport. That 1 second, all the adrenaline rushed out of my body and I couldn't walk. It was like millions of needles and knives stabbing all of my feet. So I pinched a nerve or pulled something and it traveled all the way down to my feet where I couldn't walk. I was the whole entire trip. It took, I think, like 24 hours to get home too because we're in Spain and you have to take all these other flights. I was sliding, skiing, through ice skating, through the airport, through everything, because every time I took a step, it was pinching. If I continued and if I ran that final, I could have done something worse to my body. So thank God I went to the chiropractor every single day after that. Got my back aligned, got my back x-rayed first, obviously, got it all checked. They figured out it was like I pulled something and pinched nerve. I was on bed rest as soon as I got home for a whole month. For 30 days, I was in bed. I wasn't moving to like give my body a recovery time and like to relax and to decompress. And I remember I tried going for a run once within that month. And guys, oh my gosh, I tried going for a run and it literally, I couldn't run. So that's when I was on bed rest for 30 days. Thank God Cam took me out. I'm so freaking thankful because I don't know what else I could have done to my body that season, but I took care of my body. I, went to physical therapy, went to the chiropractor. I ended up, surviving. I'm a survivor. I survived it and I got better. And then, I went on to the next season. So I'm going to do my hair now. I went on to Final Reckoning. I trained after Vendettas. Well, first of all, I trained so hard for Vendettas after Final Reckoning. After Vendettas, I trained so hard for Final Reckoning. So I'm going to do the pony. And this is how you beat your face and you talk about the challenge. Also, can you guys comment below? Do you miss my long hair? Because I really do miss it. Like, I miss my long hair. I'm growing out my hair. I'm starting hair vitamins and I'm growing it out. I'm so over the short hair. While everyone's cutting their hair in quarantine, I'm going to be growing my hair. Alrighty. And then let's put on some hoops. Oh, I didn't put my fake lashes on, but we can put those on after. And guys, this is a reminder, do not troll people. This is my own opinions. I'm entitled to these opinions, as are you. This is my version. This is what I see. This is from my 411 perspective. This is all my opinions. If you don't agree, we can all agree to disagree or agree to anything I or you or anyone else says. Do not attack anyone from this season. Do not attack anyone at all. This is not the time to be attacking people on social media. I just want to remind you that we're all human. Even if we do reality TV, we all have bills. We all have debts. I still have student loans. We're human beings just like you. We're just in the public eye to provide entertainment. So at this time, just if you don't agree with something I say, happily comment it, but do it in a positive way. Right now is not the time to be attacking any of the cast members or anyone, even if you don't like them. Right now is the time to be focused on working on yourself, doing the best you can for yourself, because we're all in this together. I haven't left my apartment all month, and I can't go outside because I live in an apartment. So I don't have cable TV. I don't have a television because I just moved. So I'm making the best of it, and that's why I started YouTubing, to not go insane and stir crazy. So let's spread positivity. If you don't agree with something, we can all say anything to anyone as long as you say it in a positive or nice way. Any message can be delivered. Alrighty, so there we have it, guys. My final look. I beat the face, talked about my 2 biggest elimination wins and my most memorable loss against the Queen Cam, and this is my super cute look. I hope you guys enjoyed. Comment below what other videos I should do. Make sure you subscribe to mi canal. Y besitos, babies.